Hey, welcome back, network engineers. You want to see something cool? Look what we got here. We're going to add to our toolbox that package that we're building. In that previous video, linked up there, that ability to ping a subnet and to respond or give us JSON back. So we're going to do this on a /30, right? Look at that. How cool is that? You want that? Stick around, man. All right, awesome. You showed up. Cool. So in that last video, we talked about making our code reusable, right? And so we created a folder structure for us to use. What I'm going to do is delete everything in there and make it kind of future-proof it a little bit, right? In a little way. So I'm going to create a new folder within my toolbox, and I'm going to do v1. So what this will allow us to do is create code based upon version 1, and let's say 6 months down the road, you come up with a new idea that you want to implement, but if you implement it, it's going to break your previous work, right? So we don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like some revision stuff, right? So starting off with v1, we'll work around v1, and we have that awesome idea when we're going to implement something cool, right? Do that awesome sauce stuff. We can do version 2. Right, so then we can do this awesome sauce stuff around version 2 and not break our previous code base, right? Cool. So we're going to do version 1, and within my toolbox, I'm going to create a file, 2 underscores, init py, and that, as we previously discussed, just kind of real high level, tells Python this is going to be a package, right? And we're not thinking about pushing it up to like PyPy or anything like that. This is more like internal stuff. So within version 1 folder, we're going to create another file. And we're going to do underscore, 2 underscores, 2 of them, py, right? And then in our version 1, we're going to do one more folder, and this is going to be our ping. And then what do we want to do, right? So we're going to want to ping a whole subnet. So within this whole subnet, right, we're going to want to do stuff like, I don't know, maybe have it dumped to JSON or maybe XML or give us the raw feedback. So to start off with, let's create a new Python file, and we're going to call this subnet.py, and making sure that within our ping folder, we also include the init to underscores in the front and in the back, and then .py. All right, so folder structure by toolbox, and then we got another folder, version 1, and then the 2 underscores init, right, underscores .py. Now in the version 1 folder, we have that init py, and then the folder ping, wash, rinse, repeat, init py, subnet, right? Cool. So we're going to define a basic function, and we're going to call it to JSON. right? And all we're going to do, like we did in that previous video, just to make sure that we have the basic stuff outlined for our imports. And I already know that we don't, but I kind of want to illustrate it. So we're going to say from my toolbox, version 1, import ping, right? Then we're going to say ping. Oh, hey, I don't get the subnet IntelliSense, right? All right. So the reason why is that we need to go into our init and we need to suck that in, that file in, right? And that file is from here, import subnet. So coming back to our test file, right? And remember, our test file is outside of our modules, right? Outside of our toolbox that we're building. So now we can say ping.subnet and what? Look at that. It shows our function to JSON. Cool. All right. So let's jump to our subnet file. And if I run the test.py script, it should print hello. Let's give that a shot. Hot diggity dog, it does. All right, cool. So I'm going to bring up terminal and run the test.py file just to ensure that I have the imports correct. Now this would be like you're outside of the IDE Visual Studio Code and you've created your awesome sauce script that is doing the awesome sauce stuff. So Python test.py, and if we run it, I expect to see hello. And we do. Awesome. So that is telling me that I have all of the imports defined correctly. So if we come back to our folder structure and within ping, if we were to create, as we did in the last video, a file called IP, because we just want to ping the raw IP and not a subnet, we would go into the ip.py file. We define our function, and let's do another to.json function, and let's do print. And what are we going to print? Let's do print from IP to JSON, just to let us know that we're good, kosher, and everything. Going back to our init.py, we would need to also import IP. Cool. Awesome. All right. So going to our test script, this will allow us to do ping. Oh, it's not subnet. It's IP to JSON, and I expect that text to show up from IP to JSON. Cool. All right. Now we are cooking with awesome sauce. Sweet. Okay. Well, let's get to it, right? Before we do, I want to get something to drink. Be right back. All right. Sorry about that. Back to it. So, we want to ping a whole lot of IPs and to get it returned in a JSON format. So let's get to it. And I'm going to say ping subnet return JSON. I'm gonna get some music going. So if you see my head bopping or lips moving, I'm not going crazy. And I want that should be good, right? Okay, so it's going to return a JSON list. Ooh, that was rough. So we're going to do an import. I think it's IP address. And we're going to need JSON, a couple others, but for now that should do it. Now I want to do net equals IP address. And that would be that subnet from above. And what will happen if I do something that should fail? I think the wrong bits are turned on. Yeah. Alright, so we got a value error. Okay. Is it value error? So why did that not catch? I expected that to. Alright. I was just being a dunce. I didn't have the outer, and I tried accept. Alright, that works. So let's go back here. Let's do it. So. Alright. So we need to iterate that, don't we? There is a difference between Windows and Linux. And I'm thinking that the way that I'm going to be doing it is subprocess. So I do need to bring in a couple things. Let's go import OS, import subprocess. I think I might need to do this from subprocess, import I can't remember. I think that's it. We'll come across it when it gets there. So since subprocess basically shells, there's a difference between Linux and Windows. So let's do a check. Here, Windows. Array is not implemented. So that is if OS in OS name. And I'm thinking we'll come back and do the Windows piece in a different video. But for now, let's stick with the Linux flavor. Let's do ping, because we are Linux, right? Right. I'm going to create another function, I think. Just do a basic function think that's it, right? Do that. Since we're doing a shell out, right? The command that we will be doing, music stopped. I think we might want to shell out or redirect. Okay. So when that runs, it's running our command. Return code is 0. That means no app error, right? So when the binary gets executed, 0 is good. So we're going to return true. Else, no, else. We just return false, right? Do I need to wrap that in a try? So I'm thinking that's going to error if if it can't find ping. So we could route that in a try except, but I won't. Okay, so we come back to here. We're going to ping. And what are we going to ping? We need to ping the IP address. All right. And that IP address is in that loop, for loop. Okay, I don't want this to be called directly. All right, let's just do that. I think that's right. I think we have to. So I think that's that object. My music stopped, damn it. All right. What don't you like? Didn't error. Good. All right, so we got the output. I think I'm going to use an object here. So you want to call it That's a lot of typing. I don't see why I just can't do that. What do you think? Let's just make it easier on us. I'm all about making it easy. And then we got this. And I'm thinking a bool is perfect, right? True if host is active. Okay. So we have our object, but in order to use JSON dumps, we need to get a dictionary from it. And to get the dictionary, we need to create an iterator. So let's do iterator. And this is the iterator, right? And then doing our object properties. Okay. Oh, items. So we got the iterator. Now let's do our string dump, right? So that string, we're going to return JSON dumps. And what are we dumping? We're dumping the dick of self. Where am I? Okay. And we need to... Okay, so what do we got here? We have our object. Our object is called ping reply. Initiate net, our iterators, and then our dumps. Oh, that looks pretty good. I think it's going to work. I think we need to stick that into a list. So our output. What are we pinging? We're pinging hosts, right? Store string. I don't know. JSON response of our, I don't know. Ping reply, right? Okay. So we create our host. Our host is of the ping reply. Our host IP is that. Our is active is from our output. Okay. And now we've got information in our object, so we need to JSONify it, right? So that is, God damn it. Where are you, string? There you are. In our list, we're going to append our JSON. Okay, we are creating our object to hold our response. All right. Here we are JSONifying it. It being our object. And then sticking it into our list. I think that would work. Where am I? All right. So we got all of our stuff in that list. Let's take our stuff and we're going to dump it. And then we're just going to return our JSON string. All right, what we got? So if we start here, output, all right, there's a network. Cool, we're getting the individual hosts. All right, we're going to iterate that. We're Windows, we'll pop an error, not implemented, else we're Linux. So that means we get to do the cool stuff. All right, POSIX ping, we're passing in the IP. Building our command. We run the command. If we're 0, we return true. And then we're going to shove it into our object. And we're going to make it JSON string. So let's give it a whirl, eh? Oh yeah, look at that. Jumping into our iterator. That looks good. I like that. All right, cool. Cool. Pinned. Create a string. Cool. I think it worked. Wow. Want to take a drink? All right. So how do we use this? Well, we're getting a JSON back, all right? So let's make it so we can iterate it. And that's a JSON string. And we're going to go, need to turn that into something we can work with, right? So loads, what are we loading? I think we're loading JSON string, right? So we got the hosts. Host should become a dictionary. Now we need to iterate that. And I think we need to do the individual. Because it is a JSON list. So we load her up again with the temp, right? And that should be the individual item. So now we can do if response, because response is a dictionary, we can go is active equals true. We do cool stuff here, print doing something cool, cool beans. All right, and then we'll do this. And we're going to format it. What we're going to grab is the IP. And then the is active within that dictionary. And that should print. Oh. Let's do it again. Look at that. How cool is that, man? Alright, so let me stop my music for a second. So this is what we did, man. So we created kind of a revision thing going on here for our tool belt, right? Our toolbox. So we just created a tool. What this tool can do is ping a whole freaking amount of addresses depending on what network we piped in, right? What subnet we piped in, right? So we can ping the individual hosts. Well, depending on how we want to do it, right? We said, well, now we want to do just send us back JSON, right? Because we're going to feed this upstream. So we just took that whole subnet, we broke it apart. Right, now we're going to iterate it. And we're cool because we're running Linux. We're going to ping, right? We're not going to do any sockets because sockets causes us to have to run an administrative like sudo. So we're just going to do a basic shell, right? If the return code is 0, meaning the app functioned correctly, right? Return the response. We're good. If we return anything else, the host did not respond. So we got that in our output. Then we're going to create our custom class up here. And our custom class is just a basic definition, right? We have IP. We have is active. Those are our properties. But in order for us to do the JSON dump, we had to create a dictionary. Well, so we created a little iterator, right? And so that iterator allowed us to do like IP, which is this IP, right? Is active is this bool. So when it does its magic, we'll have those dictionary fields, those keys, right? Those dictionaries keys, right? So IP becomes a key, right? Is active becomes a key, and these are its values, right? So cool, man, cool. So we put all of that in our custom class, and then we JSONify it, right? So we created that really cool JSON string. We append it to our host list, right? Then we ship her on out, right? So we make the awesome sauce awesome. And so we get that JSON string, right? Well, we can just do something with it. What we're going to do with it right now is just create that dictionary for us to play with it. But this gives us an idea of what we can do, right? So let's take a look at it. So if we were to increase that to a /24, it's going to ping a whole lot of addresses, right? 254 addresses, because we're only pinging the usable. So it's going to go through each of those addresses and issue that ping. Well, we're not seeing anything being outputted. You're right. Because if we go and look, we're looping through each one of these. And it's waiting on the timeout of our ping, right? So I have a lot of non-active hosts on this subnet. So it's timing out. And that's why we're seeing the delay. Now we could take this and improve it, right? We can do like threading and stuff like that. But for now, let's just keep it simple, right? It's usable, it's a little slow, and we'll improve upon it later. All right, man. So you're saying, yeah, that's okay, whatever, right? I get you. But watch this, right? So let's say Friday afternoon, you're getting ready to leave, right? You had a real long week, and the boss comes to you and say, you know what? I need you to ping all of these addresses within this subnet. You're about to leave. Well, yeah, I get it. The story isn't great. I'm trying to think of something on the spot. It's not working. But think about this, man. You created a toolbox, right? You don't have to rewrite anything inside your toolbox. So the boss comes to you and says, I need a report. How many hosts are active in this, right, subnet? Okay. All right. So let's do our basic try. Except, and this was what? Value error, right? And let's do, no. And now we can do output, whoops. Output equals my toolbox. Did that wrong. It's ping subnet, and your boss wants it in JSON, right? And the subnet that you are now pinging is this subnet here. No. No. Yeah, helps if I spell it right. So the boss comes to you and says, I need this report. Well, you know what? There's your report, right? So this is like the really cool thing about don't repeat yourself. You write it once and reuse it thousands and thousands of times. So as always, if you have any questions, comments, and or concerns, place it in the comments section, please. If you have any curiosities, place it in the comments. If you want to see something, place it in the comments, right? Hit that like, hit the subscribe. See you again.